Good evening, you wonderful people. As you know, my normal co host is on a trip right now. And I figured we would do this by ourselves tonight. Well, we will probably do that a lot. I do have a bunch of guests lined up. Tuck does help me out from time to time, but it is what it is. Uh, he has been very helpful here lately. But anyway, as you can see, tonight's title is Little Tin Men in Minnesota, Hellhounds and Nightmare Animals. I would like to add though, I did have another guest lined up for tonight, but he got busy at the last minute. I kind of think he chickened out. It's it's fine. I mean, this is a lot to take in sometimes, and especially with me badgering you with questions and things, and yeah. Um, but I like to go over last night's channel news. Uh, Please stop by and subscribe to the new channel, which is going into works, Midnight Confessions. Um, there is a growing interest in it, and I'm starting to get content for it. There's nothing new. There's nothing new, and there's nothing up yet. And I plan to put the trailer out here soon. And if I sound a little stuffed up, yes, I am. It might sound a little sleepy too. I had to drop a couple of Benadryl today. My arms like to itch during the summertime. I think it has something to do with the doctors called it something, but my grandma, yeah, it was my grandma, not my great grandma, but my grandma. I'm not sure if my great grandma had it, but my grandma did. Um, she actually had to go into a hospital for it for a while. She would scratch her arms so bad they would bleed, and they couldn't figure out what it was. And I guess they did, and they gave her medicine. And I never heard any more about it, but I don't know. It's enough to bug you when your arms feel like that. It's like a constant aggravation. Almost reminds me of a toothache or something. But it's there. So anyway, Benadryl helps sometimes. Um, but yeah, anyway, like I said, if I sound groggy or out of it a little bit, it's because I had to take two Benadryl. I took a nap, about a 30-minute nap right before the show. Come pop back on and said, okay, I'm going to do this. Um, yeah. Now, like I said, with the channel updates, last night I also said that I'd be moving the old content to a backup for Paranoid Times and removing the old videos from Paranoid Times. You know, just in case you see that happening, you know what's going on. But you'll still be able to watch everything. You just have to go there. I know there's a lot of people that like to go watch the older content, and there will be newer, older style format content. I was able to find the software that I used to make that content. I thought I had lost it forever, honestly. I see a comment there. Hey, yeah. Did I write the what now? Oh yeah, I wrote it. I mean, it was well, I posted it, or I first published it on Reddit back in the day, and under the name, or under the Reddit name CERN Scared, and I posted the second and third part under CERN Scared 1. That was because that after it gained so much traction on Reddit, they banned the name. I'm not sure why. I mean, it was weird. And then I posted, and then I kind of got pissed off at Reddit. I have been a long time lurker on Reddit. I mean, I like to post like subreddits stories and stuff so people can follow along, and then I would cross share them to like No Sleep and other places. But No Sleep turned into full blown Nazis. Some of the other subreddits started acting like they were all powerful gods, and I don't know. That being said, I mean,
once you get enough karma and stuff like that, you can do your own subreddits, but you still need some kind of following, and they broke the model when they created those sites. But yeah, I mean, are you new? I mean, have you, how long have you been around the channel to know about the CERN stuff? I mean, because we actually had a movie in the works. That went belly up. That was around Cough Cough. Okay. Well, if you remember, there was, oh yeah, okay. There was that. I mean, that was. I mean, if you go on like Grok and those other things, they actually use my videos for training. I have no idea why, but they did. But you can go on there and you can type in what this channel's known for, and it will give you like this huge detailed report about like that viral video and a bunch of stuff about me, and it's kind of concerning. But yeah, I mean, I'm still working on the CERN stuff, and I mean, I want to do, like I said, we were working on the movie. There's an individual that was working on the, they got limited rights from me, and they were working on a version of the first part of the series. I will be migrating the old content to a channel called Paranoid Times Library. Now, this channel will stay the same, but it will have like the new live and interactive content, and it will also have like, so I can, get back to doing like the more live stuff. Like, I want to do Gas Mask Chronicles. I want to do these live videos. I got a bunch of other stuff to come out with. So, I just want to be able to provide that so, everybody can, but for the people who like the older voice to text versions or whatever, that's going to be over there. Now, I think I am going to take some of them older videos, probably the majority of them, but you got, there's a couple of thousand of them, and convert them into like red story, live action type stuff. That should be kind of cool, I think. I'm not. Well, we've been playing around with a few things that looks interesting. Let me say that much. But the older videos will be used to make other stuff, but I need to back them up, and I need them off this channel to satisfy our YouTube overlords. I mean, because if I don't, I just can't provide content. I had so many issues trying to come back over and over and again, and I have countless chats and phone calls and negotiations with YouTube, just trying to figure this out. And I'm like, well, my older subscribers. Yeah, there is. And then, there's some stuff that I had removed back then that's on a backup over here, and there's stuff that I never got to post. So, I don't know. There's quite a bit of stuff. I got a lot of work. And then I have other channels that are just kind of like setting. Like I was saying, there's Midnight Confessions will be coming out. It's a channel on its own, and you can kind of figure out what that is. But there's a lot of people that want to participate, let's say that. So it should be fun, and hopefully that it will be something, at least something interesting. But yeah, I haven't been putting the work in, man. I have. And like I said, when you move videos like this, unless you transfer a brand from one channel to another, you have to take them all down. You have to get Google to zip all of your old stuff, and you have to download those, and then you kind of have to sort them and rename them and add the metadata and the cards, and it's just a lot to do. And while I have a team, I haven't activated them again yet because I mean I hadn't needed them. But anyway, that's a lot. Anyway, look, let's jump into this first story at least. Little 10 men in Minnesota. This is an old story. I think from around. Let me look here at my notes. From around 1965. And if you go on the internet, you're not going to find jack about it. It appeared in a couple of magazines. I got one of them here. And I got a little pamphlet on it. I even done a web search, and what you see on the screen is not what we will be talking about tonight. This is what come up. And there's some family out here that makes these little tin things, and they got like a little park. I guess it's kind of cool, kind of like Wizard of Oz type stuff. Maybe it's kind of creepy, but I needed to display something, and I didn't have anything to display. Because, like I said, as the story goes, robots are creatures shaped like tin cans with arms and tripod legs, appearing to be flesh or tissue, not metal. In the latest development in this incredible UFO mystery, see, I think this was a scrubbed story. I mean, I honestly do, because, like I said, I can't find anything about it. I can't find anything about the guy that told it. I can't find, other than the magazines that I have, and you can barely find those. The guy's name was John Townsend. He was a 19-year-old, and he was an announcer for KEYL in Long Prairie, Minnesota, about 120 miles northwest of Minneapolis. And he encountered these weird beings. They're a strange silver rocket ship at 7:15 p.m. on October 23rd, 1965. Now, there's a drawing of the rocket ship. And the rocket ship looks exactly like Elon Musk's thing that he built, the spaceship. Exactly like it. And apparently this thing landed. These things come out. Well, I go on and say what he said. On that evening, he was driving west on Highway 27, about 4 miles east of Long Prairie. As he rounded a curve, he had to slam on his brakes to avoid hitting the mysterious ship, which stood on 3 fins or legs in the middle of the road. The announcer's 1956 car skidded to a halt 20 feet in front of the craft. The motors, the lights, the radios on his car all quit at the same time. However, the scene remained illuminated by a bright light which emanated from the bottom of the rocket. They thought, and then the thought suddenly struck them, I should knock the ship over for evidence. He attempted to restart his car, but the motor would not turn over. I mean, he was going to ram this thing. I mean, would you ram the spaceship? I mean, if there's a spaceship in the middle of the road, would that be something that crossed your mind? I mean, I gotta know. I don't know. It might cross my mind. I mean, would you fire up your car? You see a rocket. You see a silver rocket that looks like Starship sitting in the middle of the road. Would you try to crank your car and nail this thing, trying to knock it over so you can prove that this thing was there, so it can't take off again? I'm not sure. Thank you, man. Thank you. Um, yeah, I heard that from a lot of people. I did. Um, there's one of the reasons why I started doing a channel was for, well, I mean, originally I was doing a backup for my, uh, for my own work, for my own reasons. But one day when I think I had like 1,000 subscribers, I had somebody reach out to me and told me they were going through kidney dialysis, and they like listening to my stuff, and it gave me the push I needed to continue with this channel, and I don't know. I wish I met that individual. I do. I mean, there was other people that were going through the same thing. Believe it or not, it seemed to be a common thing. I guess that is a scary, scary thing. Yeah, I'm thinking about getting a Benadryl jail. I'm going to try to break away and go over to the doctor and see if there's something they can give me, and tell them I need something that's not going to knock me out and make me feel drowsy, and where I'm stumbling over my words and sounding like a drunk online, I guess. I mean, I'm feeling a little better now since the coffee's kicking in. But I mean, this has been like 2 nights, 3 nights now that I felt like this. And man, it seems like every time the sun, like when summer comes, this is when it starts. It's like a bad case of poison oak. Well, it feels like it. It doesn't look like it, but it feels like it. But anyway, where was I? Here we go. Although the rocket looked like stainless steel when it stood 30 or 40 feet tall. I mean, isn't that close to how big Starship is? Or is it, how big is Starship? Hold on a minute. Now I gotta look. I lost my glasses. How big is Starship? I can't type either. The diameter is 30 feet. Total height is 400. Okay, yeah. This wasn't that big then. This was big. This was smaller than their. Yeah. This would have been a very small rocket. This has been like a 30-foot model of Starship. Wow. All right. Wow. But yeah, it looks kind of like Starship or something else that I'm not gonna say online. But let's see. Looming over the road on the side of the trees. It's relatively small distance, about 10 feet. He suggested that he might upset the craft by hand. Impulsively, he jumped out of the car to try and cautiously approached the deserted ship, and I noticed two things. The surface bore neither markings nor openings, and the nose of the rocket was tampered particularly. It resembled the top of a ballpoint pen, the kind you trigger from the top. That don't look like a ballpoint pen. That looks like a male prolific device. I don't know. He says there may have been robots, but they acted like creatures. We call them incredible objects. They were the size of 303 cans. Who does the math that way? 303 cans. I have no idea how big that is. What kind of cans? Beer cans. Okay, beer cans. brownish black in color, and limbs as thick as pencils or matchsticks. They probably came from behind the ship and appeared to be defending it. I can't explain it because they didn't have eyes, but they were looking right at me, Townsend said. It seemed like forever that we stared at each other in a dead silence, and then I got scared and started to run back toward the car. And he goes on and he says the thing took off like a glowing flashlight that made no sounds. He goes on to say that he got on the radio and he talked about it. Uh, he went to the sheriff. He made a report. Like I said, there's no evidence of this case on here. I mean, anywhere. Apparently, according to this, it was investigated. I don't know. Has anybody heard of this story? If you heard of the story, we'll go back in and investigate it. But yeah, I don't know. That's the first time I've ever heard of Little Man of Minneapolis. But it's full of other eyewitness accounts and of strange aliens there. Yeah, you're about 7 minutes behind. I'm sorry. I mean, I got on an hour later. It was due to the vendor drill. I'm trying not to feel the whole hour talking about little tin men. I was just happy I found that story, but yeah, if you guys ever, if anyone's from Minneapolis or Minnesota or in that general area, ask them about it. It would be interesting to hear if people still talk about it because it's nowhere online. It's nowhere in any database. And as far as I know, this is the only place it is. Like I said, apparently there's police reports, and apparently it was heavily talked about back in 1965. I don't know. We'll get to it, but how would you feel about living with a hellhound? A lot of us do have dogs, and some of them are, well, you can call them hellhounds. Another, we love them to death. Um, either way, it doesn't matter. We all like our pets, from cats to dogs to lizards to snakes, to whatever we can keep. And a lot of times we forget they have minds of their own. But there was this family who had a dog they couldn't see. They found, other than the fact that they found hair, black hair, around their home, I mean. And at night they would hear the wailing of a dog. They would hear the scratching on the walls. The mother would get scared, pack up her children, run out at night. She was terrified. But I'm told they eventually learned to live with it. Even after they brought in priests for exorcisms. So, I mean, could you live with a hellhound? Would you eventually, adopt it as your own? I mean, if you can't get rid of it, then you need a place to stay. Ain't a lot you can do, I guess. Excuse me a minute. I'm going to have a nicotine gum. I think my voice is starting to return to normal. At least it feels like it. At least I hope it sounds that way on that end. You know, guys, feel free to say anything. I would love to read comments right now. You know what? That was cool. I don't know what happened to it. I am going to change the chat window because that went away too quick. That went away way too quick. And I don't see it in my my other capture over here. Let's see. Where are you? 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 All right. We are going to chat background. Simple lines. There. All right, that should work now, maybe. No more of the flying bubbles, I think. I think that's right. No, that ain't right. There we go. All right. Yeah, I've heard of that. But this isn't poison oak. I mean, it may have been caused by poison oak at some point, but it's definitely not poison oak. Yeah, I was kind of like bullshitting around until you got caught up. But yeah, you know, my family, you know, when I was growing up, they actually took um, would roll up a piece of a poison oak leaf and put it in a piece of bread and eat it. I don't suggest anyone ever doing that. By the way, don't do that. I mean, people in my family were stupid, absolutely crazy. You know, a lot of those thought they were like backwood witches and stuff. Don't do that. Um, but yeah, but yeah. I mean, I guess I could live with something like that. I mean, I don't know. Well, I guess breaking news, guys. Virginia voters approved the redistricting plan, and well, the Democrat redistricting plan. That sucks. That's all I'm going to say about it. Anyway, that's actually depressing. Yeah, what the poison oak? I'm not sure what you're going to wait what on. Could have been a couple of things. I tend to ramble sometimes. I'll wait for you to hear it. Was it about the hellhound, the poison oak, or the Tin Man? I think that's what I can remember at the moment. Hey, that it feels good to be under heat when you feel like that. anytime, even if you're running a fever. Oh, I mean, yeah. I mean, it doesn't matter. I was just waiting for you to catch up. It doesn't. I mean, I'm not. I'm going on rambling. I'm talking about your comments. I mean, the more I talk, the more behind you're going to get. So, yeah, it really don't matter. Um, I was reading your comments, but yeah. Let's see. Where was I? Okay. Well, it was the hellhounds. Like I said, I was asked the question there, but you know, great. How many of you guys have nightmares? I'm sure we all do, but some of us have more nightmares than others. Some of us have waking nightmares. Some of us have nightmares we almost think is real. This story sort of centers around a child in Michigan. Every night he dreamed of lions. Most kids would dream of lions or tigers or after watching a Disney film. But these were evil lions. The kid would wake up screaming, terrified. And one night he started waking up with deep scratches on his back. He blamed the lions. From my understanding, this kid was about as close to being autistic as you could get. You know, it's a fairly old story. A lot of these old stories are lost to time. Similar to the Tin Man and the Hellhound story. I mean, heck, the Hellhound story. The Tin Man story. There was police reports. There was eyewitnesses. There was a terrified news reporter who, if he was still alive, would probably go on and talk about it. But yet, there's no mention of it online. There's no YouTube videos. There are countless libraries of stories that one can only believe are true that have been lost to the test of time. And that bothers me. It does. It should bother you too. Everything we do now seems to be getting eaten up by AI. They slowly burn away. The younger generation don't care. They don't want to record anything. Just watch, consume, go about their day. Try to be an influencer. Try to be the next gamer. I do admit the burnt peanut is kind of cool. I mean, he is somebody you can watch and kind of like decompress. I mean, if you want some mindless content, and if you ever had that idiot brother or idiot friend that you used to play games with, or who was that's who that kind of person reminds me of. I mean, I hate to say it, but you talk about someone like that, the burnt peanut, and I looked into him, and yes, I do watch him sometimes, and he doesn't care about the money. He doesn't care that he was voted in. He doesn't care about any of that stuff. He spends 8 to 9 to 12 hours a night streaming just because he wants to have fun. And, but that's where we are. But when you have people like that who show this excitement toward things, you also have people who want to do these things. And our kids, our people who want to be the next big thing, who think they can, or think they can trick or game the system. There's individuals out there that are running AI content on YouTube videos and TikTok videos and Instagram and things like that. And they're turning back around and they're selling the YouTube channels on Reddit. They're selling their Instagram channels on Reddit. And they're making lots of money doing it. And people buy this stuff up. They do. And I mean, we all do, I guess. There's times we get depressed, and there's other times we just kind of like fade out, and we get on the internet and we scroll and scroll and scroll and scroll and scroll. Lord knows I've done it. Lord knows I've been there. Some of you might actually be finding my videos doing that. And understand. And I'm not saying what you're doing is wrong. I'm just saying that the direction our society is going in, we should be concerned. We should worry. And I know that might hurt some people's feelings. I know that might bother some folks. But it is true. And anyway, enough of the depressing stuff. But anyway, this kid would wake up at night. I mean, this was all the makings of a movie. All the makings of things that you would find in the horror section at your local. Well, if we still had Blockbuster, I mean, but yeah, your local Blockbuster, or your local movie store, or your. For some of us that live way out in the country, we had gas stations with movie stores in the back, or a small selection of movie stores, movies, VHS tapes or DVDs. I don't think I've ever seen a DVD library in a gas station, or like one of those old gas stations. It was always VHS. Yeah, that's weird when I think about it. Never really thought about it that way. They never went that way. They never converted over. But yeah, they had a little room there. I remember the smell of the wood, they used untreated lumber in there, and they had these mishmake shelves tacked up on the walls, VHS tapes lined up on them. Wasn't many newer things on there, but it was movies, And I guess if you needed one, I think it was $1 to rent for like 3 days or something, maybe $2. Oh, I got a message from somebody. Not important. But yeah, well, that was depressing. Sorry. I'm thinking back to my childhood and people who are not here no more. That store actually appeared in one of my videos. That gas station. Let me rephrase myself. That gas station made a couple appearances in a few of my stories in the older content. There used to be this old man that would sit on the front porch, and he would rock back and forth. He would stare blankly into the field across from it. It was an old cow field. And he would always have this weird view or this weird look at life. When I had money, I would bring him a soda. And I didn't have much money back then. That was the first time I'd ever been to it. My uncle and my cousins. I was in the back of the truck, and they were too. My uncle was driving. No, my uncle was driving. My grandpa was on the side. He was smoking a cool, and we had got done spreading gravel, and we drove out to the little store there in the country, and that's when I first met that guy. We all got a bottle of knee high and a moon pie. Then Grandpa got was it? I mean, I've had Pepsi and peanuts before together, but I think he used to like to drink Pepsi and grape knee high together. I think that's what it was. Peanuts and grape knee high together. My bad. But I don't think I've ever had that. I've had the peanuts and Pepsi though, or the peanuts and Coke. The salt adds to it, and the peanut taste and stuff like that. If you've never had that, you should try it. But anyway, on our way back, that was the first time I have ever saw anything in the sky. As we was headed back to our home, we was on the dirt road. I saw this large fireball. Well, I saw this large glowing object in the sky. It got closer and closer and closer and closer. It tailed our truck, and it terrified me. I mean, it got almost to our tailgate, and this thing was huge. Just massive fireball. My cousins were screaming. My uncle had it floored. Grandpa was cool as be. Great-grandpa was cool as be. Cool as a cucumber. Two-tour war veteran, and, like you just expected this shit to happen, I guess. I was sitting there puffing a cigarette, making a drink. And like I said, my uncle was flooring it. He was going up there, and this thing was chasing us. I could feel the heat from it. I'm fairly sure that my uncle reported this thing, and people treated him like he was crazy. But we all seen it. We did. We all said, "Yep, that's what happened." So I don't know. I mean, that's the first time I ever saw anything that was that strange. Was it alien? I have no idea. Was it something? Absolutely. And that happened in Virginia. But I mean, how would you deal with nightmare animals? How would you deal with something like that? I mean, your kid waking up in the middle of the night, screaming his head off, talking about lions or tigers, and having cuts down his back. As a parent, I don't know how I could deal with that. I don't know how I don't know how I would feel about that. But it's definitely something that we should think about, because it's not the only story I've heard about people having nightmares and actually something happening to their body. Now, is that something doing that to us, or are we doing that to ourselves? Can we make things manifest? Can we think things and make them happen? I've always wondered that. I don't know. It's one of those things that bug me. Maybe it would answer a lot of other complicated questions in my life. Maybe yours too. We could figure it out. Sorry, I'm going through my notes. I will save that one. That one's way too intense. German view of parapsychology. But we don't want to do that today. I don't think my head can handle it. If you got a telephone call telling you that something bad was going to happen, today, modern day, we're able to, when we get a telephone call, we can know if it's a spam call. We will know if it's somebody we know. We will know, we can kind of figure out who's calling us, or at least if it's, a real person or somebody trying to fool us. But what if you got a call, a mysterious call? What if after someone passed away, your phone would ring and you would hear sounds and voices on the other end, and then you would hear the sound of the person that you had lost? That has happened a lot to people. I have spoken to a lot of people here recently that have gotten calls from their deceased loved ones, as if they're reaching out from the grave to tell them something, either to tell them goodbye or to tell them that something bad was going to happen to them or somebody they know, and they want them to act upon it. But if spirits can do that, if an entity can do that, if an entity is pretending to be, the spirit of your mom or whoever, and they have the ability to make a phone call, since it's a form of communication, and they can see into the future, and they're wanting us to change the future, are they time traveling ghosts? Kinda? Sorta? Ain't that a paradox? Or does that mean that when we die, we go to the future? Or there is no past or future or present? There just is, and they just know. I don't know. That's an interesting concept. At what point do they feel they need to intervene? What point do they feel they need to I don't know. I mean, I have seen cases like that. I mean, me personally, I have experienced them. I don't want to talk about that, but there are. I mean, over the past couple of years, I had really got into that and started looking into it and thinking about it and going into, these weird situations where, people were contacted by their deceased ones and whatnot. And it seems like that can happen. But it makes me wonder though. I mean, on a scientific and physics standpoint, after we die, I mean, if it is them and they can contact us and they can choose to when they want to, then after we die, we must become some type of time traveler. We must be able to know everything at that point. And I didn't think that we were supposed to have that ability. I don't know. It bothers me when I think about the logic behind it, and I probably shouldn't, but I do. So yeah, it looks like my stream is all over the place tonight. Goes from good to excellent. It might be the system that I'm using. I installed a mesh network here in a bedroom. It saved me the time from running wires all over the place. But I don't think I'm going to change it until someone complains. Yeah, but I do. I wish we all lived forever. We ever had to experience grief. It's such a sad thing. And I think that explains a lot of stuff that we all go through. and things like this, and maybe even stuff like this in this podcast that I talked about. I mean, I don't know. Anyway, I don't remember what else I want to talk about tonight. Have you ever lived in a haunted house, or one you could say is a haunted house? What is a 5x5 treetop high? Are you living in a treehouse? Oh, okay, 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 okay. I got you. Now, oh boy, I feel dumb. Yep, yep, that'll happen. I believe it will. I told you, it's Benadryl, nicotine, and caffeine. That'll do it to you. That'll send you over the edge into some weird la la land. I definitely don't want to go back and listen to this podcast. I don't think I will. Mm-mm. Yeah, my future self, I'm sorry. Anybody else, I'm sorry. Like I said, I'm coming out of a Benadryl coma. Like I'm pumping in caffeine, and I got nicotine gum in, and trying to quit smoking tough. My old lady has to. She's got. They found that she may have had a heart attack. I don't know. It could be something else. But she's chewing on nicotine gum, and okay, maybe that gives me a little hope. But yeah, um, I need to go a little more in depth in some of these stories. But I wanted to touch bases on them and kind of one of the things I really liked on the internet back in the day was hearing somebody, come on a show, talk about things, and then, you kind of go and you look it up. Now, I mean, I can do a full video on these things and probably will at some point, but, this is just kind of like when when you do these shows, you go into details of it and you go into some of them, might read off parts of what happened. Well, I mean, you are more than welcome to call into the show and talk. Absolutely. Easiest way to do it is to go over to Facebook, join Facebook, add me, and call me, and you'll be right on. I don't have a lobby set up right now, so couldn't call in like a regular phone. You'd have to use, either Facebook Messenger or something attached to a phone or a computer or a desktop or something like that. But you are more than welcome to call in, dude. I mean, really, you are. I mean, I'd be happy to hear it if you feel like you can talk about it. I don't want to put you on the spot, but you're more than welcome to. Just give me the word. I mean, that's basically what this is. It's open mic, call in, talk about it. Um, yeah, going back to the haunted house. Do you really want to put your number in chat? Um, I can't. Wait a minute. I don't think that would work. I haven't never done it before. I'd have to share my phone to my video system. I mean, we can try it. I mean, I'll have to work some magic over here to get it online, I think. Uh, Put you on speaker and then let one of the mics record it like you're here. Are you cool with that? That's fine, man. Well, we can try this. Man, go ahead and give me a number. We'll give it a go. But yeah, we'll give it a go. I think I can. Testing. Yeah, I think we can do it. You'll be on the same mic I am, but it'll work. I think to some degree, and I can kind of like amplify it. Now, when you're talking about the C family, you talking about the Charlie family? I have wrote extensively about them. But yeah, go ahead and send me your number, and I'll call you. We'll stick you online. Oh no. That will we can't do that. That'd get me banned. Um, yeah, it didn't show up in chat. Yeah, but we can't talk about that online. Um, that's a no. Um, you'd have to. We should probably what you should probably do with that. You should probably send me an email, and then can you send me an email, and then we'll go about it that way because I have to vet that. That has gotten lots and lots of people banned on the internet. That's radioactive. I'm not sure, but no, send me an email. Um, Here, send me an email. Yeah, I'm not seeing your email either. There's mine. Yeah, see the system won't let you post phone numbers and it won't let you post your email. It moderates it. I can post the stuff back. Um, it kind of like protects you and like I forgot all that's on and working. So yeah, you can't do that. But send me an email and I'll look over it and see if we can talk about that because that's definitely radioactive. I mean, like the guy that I have on here sometimes or have had on here, he's gotten hit for it. I've had some other friends that's gotten hit for it. It's just something like you can't talk about certain things about the cough, and you can't talk about them. Um, and you can't talk about our current president to some degree. You just got to be really careful about certain things. I mean, but I'll be more than happy to talk to you on the phone and on email about it. and you can go over it and let me know. But yeah, 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 that's radioactive, big time. I mean, I about broke my rule last night or the night before, and it happened. But yeah, I don't know. Let's see. Well, we I thought that was going to be different. I'm sorry, man. I apologize. I think we'll pause on that one. And yep, I'm not gonna say that either. I'm sorry. I go ahead. Yeah, I'm gonna. That's fine. Go ahead. I got to figure out where I'm at. I lost track of I lost track of self here at the moment. That brain. Yeah. hmm These are the weird. I think that's it. That ain't right. Anybody from West Virginia? I think we talked about that the other day though. If you didn't know that the festival's going on up there, I'm pretty sure I told like I did a big write up back in the day about when we went. Well, people stealing baby monkeys again. That's interesting. That would be horrifying. Authorities say babysitter checked under a bed for monsters and found someone. I don't look like a dinosaur. Too bad they're not around now. Well, I kind of run out of things to go over with. It's good. It's good when you have somebody to talk with. Um, like I said, I wasn't able to prepare for the show as much as I wanted to. I had to take quite a bit of Benadryl, and like I said, bad thing is if I got off now, I would be wide open and I wouldn't be able to sleep. Um, but yep, I'm not sure what I should talk about. Honestly, I don't. Um, I'm at a loss at the moment. Anyway, been on an hour. I'll probably jump back on a little later. No, I'll probably jump back on tomorrow. I'm just gonna just put it there. Maybe I should sleep this off. Or try to at least. Anyway, and I can put a show better back together again tomorrow. Oh, I'm still here. I ain't gone anywhere yet. I'm still here. I'm thinking about getting off though because, like I said, I did. I disappeared. Actually, I think it was 5 years. I don't know. Oh, wait a minute. I got an email, I think. Mm. Okay, I got your email. But like I said, I can't do it. I can't do it online right now because I'm online. So I will. We'll set up a time to call and talk and everything. Okay. But I can't do it while I'm on, you know, online now. Um, hey, I thank you. I do. Uh, and like I said, I hope you still stick around. I mean, I'm trying to get spun back up again, and it's. I got to change the format altogether. Uh, it would be so much easier if I could do the older comment. All right, yeah. I think I do remember you guys. Are you still with her? Is that the one? Did you guys get married or how'd that work out? Oh, that's good. Congratulations. Um, yeah, let everybody know. Tell them to come over. Tell them, and you know. Oh, okay, okay. Hey, whatever works, I guess. You know, I'm not gonna say what I normally say. You know, because you guys are subs, but you know, and there's usually something funny there. But I have to. I mean, I don't have to. I'm not going to. Stop at Benadryl. Benadryl and coffee and stuff makes me a devil. It can. Uh, but yeah, please do, dude. Let everybody know that we're spinning back up again, and like I said, I do have new content, and like I said, I hope you caught the other stuff. I don't want to sound like a broken record, but I got to move the old content over to a backup site. That way, the live content and the new content will be on here. Um, yeah, I tried some hydrocortisone. I don't know. Like I said, I'm just gonna go over to the doctor. Say, hey, look, this is happening again. You guys need to fix it. Bugging me, you know. But yeah, like I said, I don't know. And like this new set, this new format that I'm working on is designed, where I can have somebody I can bounce in and off of. Um, it's meant for call-ins. The same way with Midnight Confessions. Midnight Confessions is designed where people can call in or they can write in or whatever, and we can talk about whatever they want to talk about and go from there. But yeah, it's built like that, and I can kind of talk about my stuff along the way. But well, Midnight Confession is not for me talking about stuff; it's for them talking about stuff. Paranoid Times is basically for me talking about stuff. But I wanted to give. There's a lot of people out there now that have stuff to say and have stuff they want to talk about. And for years, when I was running this channel, I had people that always asked me to interview them and talk to them. Sorry. And, you know, that's how I figured I would modify and model this new system. So, I can kind of like chat with them, bring them on, let them tell me their story. Because I can't travel anymore. Is Larry Nichols like a radio guy? I type him in and look him up. I mean, I got a stunt double. Oh, you talking about the American commentator? Oh, him. All right, yeah, yeah. Well, we'll save that one. Yeah, we'll save that one. I see that. I typed it in and then I saw the other thing. We'll talk about that on telephone. Um. Oh, I agree. All the political parties are corrupt, and there's a lot of strange stuff going on all over the world. I mean, can you imagine? Like, when I first started this channel, people thought I was nuts. And I mean, before that, people thought I was nuts. Like I said, we had the AT&T thing, and yeah, I saw that, and we'll talk about it on telephone. Um, but yeah, I know. I mean, when I first started this, people thought I was nuts, and then before that, people thought I was nuts. I mean, like I said, the coast to coast days. We had our own thing that sort of like paralleled it, and we had the newsletter and all that stuff, and it seems like a lot of the stuff that people would talk about, people we do stories on, and people we'd go over. This stuff is coming true now. It used to be like little things. And back then, you guys remember the cable days. Some cities had like a cable access network. And occasionally you'd get this crazy guy on there and he would have some things set up basically the way we are now. He's like, here I'm interviewing so and so, or I'm talking about this, or I'm talking about UFOs, or whatever. And and people thought those people were crazy, but now we're kind of like mainstream. And you guys heard about where the Onion, the fake site and everything, is buying Alex Jones's InfoWars. That's some wild stuff. I'm sure they're going to do some wicked stuff with InfoWars. So, they'll inherit all of the. Yeah, I do too. Public access cable. There was some crazy stuff on there. I used to have a bunch of that equipment. I mean, I still got the camera gear. I mean, the camera gear I'll probably still use for like Gas Mask Chronicles and things. I mean, that was the plan originally. It's the same gear they used in was it 28 days? Yeah, 28 days later. The zombie flick. I mean, I got in my living room. I got like a top shelf. I got like a 4-high metal long shelf, and it's full of camera gear. From the old days that I never really. I mean, I got to use some of it. There's props and stuff in there. I don't know, lots and lots of stuff for movies that I never got to finish because I either had trouble with YouTube or I had trouble with other things. Anyway, I wish I could have finished them. Someone beat us to the back rooms. That kind of sucks too. Because, I mean, we had like a backroom thing in the works. I guess we could still do one, but, you know, they're going to get the glory of it. And we tried to push it through. But, yeah. But yeah, what's going on with the cable access station and stuff like that. But yeah, you know, today, I mean, even if you remember back, I don't know, 4 years ago, 5 years ago, we weren't. You will. You will. We'll work on that. I have access to a whole lot of music now to utilize. That too has changed. So, you know, down the line, when we get everything set up and situated and get things spun up right and get everything feeling right, you know, like this whole thing still has a ton of bugs. I mean, the amount of money I had to put into setup to get everything going again is wild. Internet cost, I mean, not internet cost, but computer cost, equipment cost, parts cost, that stuff is astronomical now. And I didn't realize that I needed to basically convert everything I had over to like I went from a full on editing system over to a streaming system or in between. I mean, this thing still has like 2 massive GPUs and everything else. Oh yeah, they stuck around. They kept waiting and looking, and you know, it's there. I mean, there's believe it or not, there's a bunch that doesn't know, that don't know I'm active again. I mean, they just kind of like, oh hey, oh look, here he is. I mean, it'd be nice that the whole 80K would pop on like, hey, you know, I wish they would, and eventually they will. But I understand, you know, I've not been around a while, and I don't expect them to come running when I get home. I actually spoke about it in, it was either yesterday's video, I think, or the day before's live video. Maybe it was the weekend video. But I did talk about them. Oh, yeah. But it's definitely got interesting. And I'll say this again. I do think Candace Owens is crazy. I think she's batshit. I always will. I'll always say that. However, I do think. Oh, you're cool, dude. They're there. I mean, I'm starting to pump out a lot. So, and some of these are like in between. You know, the live videos go anywhere from an hour to 2 hours. Sometimes, some nights they run like 4 hours. So, you know, and there's people like, how do you expect us to watch all this? I mean, I understand. I mean, but you get on here and you start talking and you start rambling, and it's easy to do. It's really easy to do. If she went too close to the sun. Oh yeah, she's crazy. I'm just gonna throw it out there. I always think she's crazy. But yeah, I mean it's really easy to start dropping content, and I, I'm kind of dropping gaming content too. I'm trying to get the Twitch system working as well. I mean, I've been playing Fallout Shelter over there and getting warmed back up again. And I played, what was it? Outback Australia Trucker. Man, I was wrecking that thing all over the place. It was crazy. I hadn't played, I mean, I hadn't played a computer game in a long time. Fallout Shelter is kind of easy because it's click and go, but other things took some coordination. That's good. I'm glad. I'm happy. Um, I'm glad you guys are still together, and you come over. Um, and there's a lot of people that stuck around. I mean, there's a lot of people, that stuck on Facebook and that got to see all the stuff that I had to deal with and go through over the past couple of years. And I don't know. I mean, yeah, it's been bad. Some of it's been bad. It's like I kept trying to come back, and I kept running into obstacles, and then I finally run into like one big obstacle, and I think toward the end there, that's kind of what pushed me over here. It gave me something to do. But yeah, but like I said, it's real easy to start dumping content, and I mean, I got stacks and stacks and stacks of things to go over and to talk about, and hopefully I can get it all out there. Like I got stacks and stacks of stories to tell too. I mean that I worked on during the. I mean, honestly, I wish I decided to go on during the cough. I do. That would have been an interesting time for Paranoid Times, I believe. But now it's definitely an interesting time. Like I said, last year, are we living in the age of disclosure? Or, I mean, are we really living in this time? I mean, I don't know. This seems so fake, don't it? I mean, how do you feel about it? I mean, how do you feel about the whole alien thing? And I kind of like keep circling around to that. I don't think I can get over that. Here we are. They're doing congressional hearings. They've been doing congressional hearings. We got congressmen and congresswomen that are talking about aliens hardcore now. We got ex-presidents and presidents talking about UFOs. Like I said, they seem to be leveraging that as a political topic. And we got weird things in the sky. There's definitely there's definitely some weird stuff going on, guys. It don't feel like a psyops to me. I mean, normally psyopses and false flags and things like that, they come on real quick. They come on real fast. They don't give you time to think about them. Like the cop. I mean, you heard about it. People warned you about it. And then it was here. And everybody was in the home. And then everybody's getting shots. Well, if aliens were that big of a deal, they would already be at the UN. So either they're real and they're taking their time and something horrible's coming, or two, they're not going to tell us anything, and we're never going to know. And like I said, I don't buy all this stuff that, you have all these people come out and say that, that so and so has received a message and the Galactic Federation is coming, and I don't believe all that. I mean, I'm not that kind of person. No, I know I didn't get that. I didn't. Nope. Well, we'll talk about that one day. I got a when I feel like it's safe. I have a doctor friend who, went into that stuff hardcore, and he has compiled all kinds of information on it. I'm going to bring him on the show one day, and we can all sit around and talk about it. I think you guys will definitely find it interesting. This man has proof. I mean, he's gave proof to both governments, and it's absolutely. And by the way, nicotine gum sucks after a while. Yeah. I'm not sure what that tastes like. Oh, my back is hurting. Hey, I got to run to the bathroom real quick and go take something. I am going to toss some music on, I think, while I'm gone. I'll be back in a minute. All right, I'm back. I had to, like I said, I had to go and ask the old lady to make some coffee, use the bathroom, and take something from my back. I'm not using a computer chair at the moment. I'm using like a regular office chair in here. I plan to get like a recliner again or something. So yeah. Yeah, but that's cool. Anyway, maybe later. But yeah, let's check. Let's see if there's anything we've been missing while we've been on here. Why not? How about coffee making? You know, should there be religion in classrooms? I mean, that's another topic that I'm wondering how people feel about, because I mean, back in the day, people were like, yeah, and then like in the middle of it, they were like, no. And me personally, I think kids should have access to everything to kind of like figure out what they need to learn. But yeah. I guess that's all in all what makes you feel paranoid. I gotta figure out how to turn these other mics off. Like one in my. Yeah, I don't know. This system's got some crazy things. Anyway. I heard the Charlie Sharks. I mean, this is probably going on to the. I mean, why does it feel like they're literally turning this Charlie Kirk stuff into like some kind of JFK thing? I don't really get it. I don't get it at all. Oh God, you don't think we're going to see Charlie Kirk's wife run for political office, do you? Yeah, I got a whole bunch of sounds on this thing now. Like that's one of the upgrades that I got. We didn't have this back in the day. Um, well, I mean, back in the early '70s, they told us to duck and cover and hide under a desk. And you remember that game they used to make us play? We all go outside with like this large parachute looking thing, and put a ball in the middle, and we bounced it up and down. Remember that? Like during, it never seemed to be like during gym class. It was like middle of the day or whatever. Well, anyway, that was part of the civilian defense thing because, like, they expected that if the nukes were to drop, yeah, I don't know. I think they're kind of like weirdly strategically staging this for her to maybe run for office at some point. Ow! Ow! Yeah, hurt my foot. I did too. I hit my computer. Hopefully everything's working again, working better, or still working. I mean, 'cause I hit my foot, hit my one of my speakers, and I hit the computer. But I mean, I don't know. I was just wondering if they're lining her up for some kind of political move because uh, it just kind of seems like that. It feels like that. Uh, yeah, I think it is. I mean, I crossed my legs under my desk, and I need to move my bass speaker off of my other power supply, and they're too close to the computer. And I got the case open because I had to seriously modify this thing. But yeah, like I said, there's all kinds of little crazy things. They even got echo and everything else. A lot of stuff that, yeah. And there's a voice changer on here. And I mean, I guess that's kind of cool if you're like a, gamer or streamer or something. You can kind of screw with people, but I don't know. You also can play sounds, like, parts of clips, movies and things, which I might do at some point. I mean, that would be cool. I don't know. But yeah, I think the Charlie Kirk stuff is is like they're going to amplify it. What's this thing? Yeah, who knows what's happening on Mars? Yeah, I just don't want to watch the news tonight. But anyway, I am going to jet, I think. I've been on here for an hour and 30 minutes. I'll be back on tomorrow. I promise. Probably more awake, more alert, and better. I think so. Yeah, media does suck. It does. I mean, it's depressing, extremely depressing. But yeah, I'll be back tomorrow. You guys be good. Thanks for joining me. And stay paranoid, my friends. God bless. Peace out.